Welcome back to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Today, I felt it necessary to dive into another commonly asked viewer question. What is this? Why are there so many different listings for the same guitar offered at varying price points by multiple sellers and are always located in Japan when shopping on eBay? Let me answer this for you. First off, there are tons of scams on eBay, but this actually is not one of them. I repeat, this is not a scam. You have no reason to fear these listings or make posts complaining about them. If you do in fact purchase one of these listings, one of two things will happen. The guitar will arrive in a few weeks' time, or more often than not, you'll get a message saying the item is sold out, as well as an offer for a full refund or a replacement item. Here's why. If you look further into these shops, you'll notice the same thing about each and every one of them. Thousands of listings with varying backgrounds, usually with very vague descriptions. I don't care if you're Norm's Rare Guitars, you don't have 7,000 different guitars listed for sale online. You might have them stored away in warehouses, but they are not offered online by an artsy photographer setting up new photo shoots for each and every item. These shops do not own a single guitar. They have no inventory at all. Most times, they're just young entrepreneurs with a dream. They dedicate all their time to making these listings. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, I thought you said we'd get the guitar if we ordered and we have nothing to fear. I'm scared. Okay, here is what is going on. When you choose to buy something from a shop like East Island Crew or Guitar Trading JP, you are most likely unknowingly purchasing from a guitar broker. A broker is someone who buys and sells goods for others. How much they upcharge is up to them, hence why you get different price points. Here in the USA, most people associate that kind of a term with like a stockbroker. There are even times when people hire me as a broker to help them find rare instruments. Once you have completed payment for the item, the broker will then take your money, contact the shop that's actually selling it, and purchase the instrument. From there, the guitar is posted off to you. Since they've advertised literally thousands of items, they can't possibly check each and every single one's availability every single day, so this is why more often than not you'll get that "sorry, out of stock" message. Now that you know how this works, you might feel ripped off and that this is kind of a dirty business scheme. Or you might want to do it yourself to make some easy money. Ethics vary culture to culture, so while this might be acceptable to do in one country, it might not be in others. For example, if you try doing something like this in the USA, people throw a fit and shut you down so fast. There's a reason why you don't see these types of listings on Reverb. I'm not even entirely sure if it's acceptable in Japan, but it happens anyways. What most people have a moral dilemma within this situation is they never disclose to you that they are just brokering the deal, which makes them feel lied to. Many times, if you visit one of these listings, copy the image, head on over to Yahoo Japan and search it, you can find the shop that is actually selling the merchandise at a much better price. If the brokers disclose what they were doing, I would have had to make this video. But would they be out of business? Now, before you go sending nasty hate messages to these people, which I don't condone, I actually love that these brokers exist, and for a few good reasons. First off, they help aid you in the search for rare guitars. When you are a collector, sometimes certain limited editions are hard to find. While you might have searches set up on eBay and Reverb for them, I bet most of you aren't scouring through Yahoo Japan translating posts that add to your guitar family. These brokers do that job for you when they essentially copy a shop's listing and post it to eBay, which is the reason why the backgrounds are always different. These brokers were very helpful to me when I was looking for the Goddess series of Les Paul and SGs because I would have never stumbled upon the shop that actually was selling them. For some reason, all those particular instruments ended up in Japan. Next, they actually help you get guitars. Even if you are a sneaky snake that sniffed out a guitar that you so sensibly need to satiate your silly self, some shops just don't ship outside of their country. You'd be out of luck. On top of that, you most likely do not speak the native language of the seller, and yeah, while Google Translate can get you so far, it's not really helpful when asking questions and receiving answers about the detailed condition of an instrument. A break or repair might get mistranslated into a scratch, for example. These brokers can speak to the shop on your behalf and get you the info you need, most times. And that leads us into the final point, returns and guarantees. eBay, though not perfect, does protect you to an extent, and so does PayPal. When I've tried buying from shops direct over in Japan, many would not accept PayPal, only bank wire transfer from international customers. Why is that? This protects the shop from chargeback claims. If you never get the item or it arrives damaged or it's seized by customs, good luck. You have no recourse now. That doesn't necessarily mean the shop is bad, trying to scam you, or evil. It just means when you are agreeing to buy it as is, you're agreeing to buy it as is, as delivered or not. By utilizing a broker on eBay, you're guaranteed to be able to use PayPal, and with that, some protections, though usually limited with overseas purchases. However, what happens if you get a guitar that is not as described, or heck, you're allergic to it? By the way, in my experience of buying guitars from Japan, most of them have a smoky scent to them. It's not necessarily bad, but it's present. Or hey, say maybe the guitar just isn't a good fit for you after all. Whatever the reason, if you bought direct from that shop, good luck returning it. International returns are a pain, especially with customs and import fees. Though, as a USA buyer re-importing a USA-made Gibson, you shouldn't ever have to pay an import fee, though UPS may charge you a brokerage fee, which is why you should always go with EMS or the USPS equivalent. But if not returned clearly marked as a return and accepted as a return package, the shop may have to pay up to 30% of the item's value in duty and taxes in order to even take the guitar back, which they then deduct from your refund, or they just straight up decline the package and you're out all that shipping cost. When it's a $5,000 guitar, that 30% fee is $1,500. I don't think anybody wants to lose that money just by returning a bad instrument. Personally, I ran into this problem when I purchased my 1984 Gibson Les Paul Super Custom. It is a rare model that was a Japanese exclusive run that I would have never found if it wasn't for one of these eBay brokers. Now, unfortunately, I sidestepped the broker to save $500 and ordered it directly from the shop. It was sold to me as not repaired with no overspray and all original. I talked to the shop and I asked them deliberately many different times. The response said it was straight. I was skeptical, but purchased it anyways. Gotta document them rare guitars, right? What arrived was most likely a headstock repaired guitar with definite overspray on the back of the headstock and many replaced parts. The shop denied the return, and even when I did a chargeback claim with my credit card company, they said the only way to do anything would be by me paying to ship it back, and even if I did that, they had no way to guarantee a refund or that the shop would accept the package. The seller could simply just deny it, and then I'd be out the additional money for a round trip from the USA to Japan. I just kept the guitar and learned my lesson from there. Had I just paid the broker his fee, none of that headache would have happened. This isn't true for all brokers on eBay, but many offer a very lenient return policy. The majority will ask that you pay for return shipping, which is fair, but there are some out there, as you can see on the screen right now, that offer free 30 and 60-day return policies. That's just insane. I'm not even sure if those are errors on the seller's part, but since they're advertising it, eBay will make them honor that. All you have to do is click the return button on your order summary page, and you'll get a fancy free return shipping label and a full refund upon delivery. The only part that really confuses me about this whole process is what happens after the broker gets your money. I've never really been sure if they actually then have the guitar shipped to them, in which they then ship out to you, or if they pose as you and have the shop ship it directly to you. I'm sure it's actually a combination of the two, depending on if the shop ships overseas or not, but what happens to returns? Most shops don't offer that kind of a relaxed return policy on used and vintage instruments, so they would likely have to resell them themselves or offer you a very generous partial refund to keep it. I mean, think about it. If they have nearly 10,000 listings on eBay, they likely at least have one sale per day at a $300 profit margin after fees, since that is around what the markup from the original sales price equates out to. Sometimes it's as much as 800 plus. Over the course of the month, that would bring in at least $9,000 profit. If they have to deal with 5 free returns out of the 30 sales where they just refund the buyer $1,000 to be happy, or they end up losing that kind of money once it's shipped back and resold, they would still be up $4,000 a month with minimal effort. Many of these sellers have good and high numbered feedback ratings on eBay, though they do have a few people leaving neutral and negative feedback for canceled orders. I've never really tested returning one of these to see what kind of attitude you may or may not get while doing it, but it definitely seems to make good business sense to me. So when buying online from Japan, are you always unknowingly buying from a broker? No. The thing to look for are matching, similar looking backgrounds, watermarks on the photos that match the seller's name, and reasonable inventory numbers. While I have utilized a broker for some purchases, I've also purchased from a shop called Ishibashi many of times, which is kind of like the Japanese equivalent to Guitar Center. And usually when you're buying on Reverb, you can be sure you're purchasing from the original shop. In the end, the eBay brokers and Japanese shops have a nice symbiotic relationship. The brokers make money by advertising the shop's guitars for sale, which moves their inventory faster. But what I want to know is how you feel about eBay guitar brokers. Would you purchase from one now that I've offered up some information on them? Let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and share this video with a friend who needs to know this information, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.